Hi everybody, Ellen here. Today I'm going to talk about the top 10 series that I want to finish this year. And you may remember that I finished 11 series during 2017 and 6 of those actually finished in December, and I didn't really feel that good about it because I know I could have finished a lot more series last year. So this year I actually have as one of my goals to finish 20 series. And as I said, this video is only for 10 series. So the first series I want to finish is Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard. And I have read the 2 first books in this trilogy, so I only have 1 book left, and that is The Ship of the Dead. And I really love Rick Riordan, and I've read so many of his books, and I really do love this series in particular also. I think this series is hilarious, and I mean, this is about Norse mythology, and I love mythology, as you might know, but also because Magnus Chase, he is living on the streets because his mother passed away 2 years ago, and he's been living on the streets ever since. And then one day he finds out that his father actually is a Norse god, and of course that's turned his entire existence upside down, and shit happens, and suddenly he's running for his life and everything like that. And I love the 2 first books so much. He's so funny and such a quick read and everything like that. So of course I want to finish the 3rd and final book. And the second series I want to finish this year is the Dark Shade of Magic series, and I have read the first book. I really liked it, so I want to also read A Gathering of Shadows and A Conjuring of Light, and I'm actually hoping to be able to read this one in January, but we'll see if I have the time to do so. But A Dark Shade of Magic is about 4 parallel Londons, and we meet this guy named Kel, and he is one of the few people that can actually travel through the different Londons. And on doing so, on one of his trips, he actually brings something back with him that he's not supposed to, and shit goes down from there. And I mean, in the trying to fix that thing, he screwed up really. He meets Lila Bard, and she's kick-ass and hilarious, and they have to work together to solve all the problems, and it's so good, and it's really like, I've never really read anything like it. And the 3rd series I want to finish is actually the Mistborn Trilogy, and it is made up by The Final Empire, The Well of Ascension, and The Heroes of Ages. And I do know that there's more books in this series as well, but those books actually take place a lot later, and you follow different characters and everything like that, so there's more books in the same universe. But this is the original trilogy, which is why I will count this as, you know, a finished trilogy when I finish these books. You know, it's about these Mistborns, and they can like inhale powers through metal or something like that, and then there's these people who's being pretty much slaves, and you know, the leader of this world really, who they're trying to take down. So that's pretty much all I know. I don't know it that much, and I don't even know if that made any sense. But I do want to read this trilogy so bad, and me and Jamie is actually going to read The Final Empire in February, so hopefully we'll get a start on this series then. And then I also want to finish the Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy. So many books. But that is made up by Mörk Ängel, Blod och Stjärnstoft, and also Gudar och Monster. So obviously I'm going to read this in Swedish. I did read Strange to Dreamer by Laini Taylor. I absolutely loved it, so therefore I want to start this trilogy as well. And I did do the Try a Chapter tag in December, in which I read the first chapter in this book, and I did really like what I read so far. The synopsis is really hard to describe, and you don't really get a lot out of it, which I have noticed is sort of the thing with Laini Taylor. But we meet Caro. She can also speak a lot of different languages, which are, you know, not always human. And she has naturally blue hair, and she's always her entire life trying to figure out and wonder where she comes from, who is she really. And we also meet Akiva, and she's actually on the run from somebody. So, you know, it's supposed to be like dark, and there's supposed to be some kind of romance in it, but that's pretty much all I know. But I am really looking forward to reading these books. I've heard a lot of great things about it, and I know. I want to read more Lady Taylor. That's pretty much sums it up. Next series, or duology actually, I want to talk about is Pivot Point and Split Second, I think is the second book by Casey West. And this is actually her first and only like fantasy series, because she does write mostly contemporary these days, and I love her books. But I wanted to try something else she's written, and I do, as you can see, only own the first book, but I'm definitely planning to buy the second book when my book ban is over. So in this one we meet Addison, and she can like look into the future, and she can see like if she makes a decision, she can see the different like outcomes of it. But one day when her parents tell her that they're getting a divorce, she tries to figure out who she's supposed to live with and everything like that. And she looks 6 weeks ahead, and she sees two different outcomes, and like it's pretty much about which outcome she's most willing to live with. So it's kind of dark on both sides, no matter what choices she makes. So it's more about what decision she can live with, and it sounds really cool, and I'd love to read it, and I love Casey West, so I have really high hopes for this duology. And like I said, I think it will be awesome, and I do hope to buy the second book very soon. And then we also have The Infernal Devices by Cassandra Clare, which pretty much everybody but me have read by so far. And it is made up by Clockwork Angel, a Clockwork Prince, and a Clockwork Princess. And I actually did read a Clockwork Angel a long time ago, so I don't really remember that much about it, which is why I want to reread it. And after that, you know, finish the trilogy. So in the first book we meet Tessa Gray, and she crosses the ocean to find her brother because he has invited her to this place. But there she actually meets these mysterious women, and they kind of kidnap her, and she wakes up and she realizes, you know, shit went wrong to say the least. And there's Shadowhunters, there's some kind of magic stuff going on in here. I don't really want to know more, since there's so much I don't remember, but I do remember some parts, which I don't want to go into because spoilers. But I do really want to read this trilogy, so hopefully I will be reading the first book in February, which is definitely a goal of mine, but we'll see how that goes. And if I'm supposed to finish The Infernal Devices, I also have to finish The Mortal Instruments, and I'm really bad at the names of these books, but I do believe I have the 3 last books left, which means I have 2 behemoths left to read. I am supposed to start reading The City of Fallen Angels, which is book 4 in the series. I think there's 6 books, I don't even know, I'm so bad at it. But since if you want to finish The Infernal Devices, you're supposed to like read every other book from The Mortal Instruments, so I have to do that to be able to finish The Infernal Devices. And I do really like this series. I mean, we meet Clary, and she finds out that her mother is a shadow hunter, and you know, she meets demons and this guy named Jace who's very mysterious, and there's some dead people at the club, or are they really dead? You know, it's very mysterious. I really do love book 3 in particular so far, because that's the furthest I've ever got. I did read book 1, 2 and 3 a couple of years ago, and then I read them so I would be able to, you know, continue the series. So I did that like 2017, but then I never got any further than the 3rd book, so I'm going to read the 4th book because I don't want to reread them again. And then I also want to finish the Firebird Trilogy by Claudia Gray, and I have read the first book. I really liked it, and 10,000 Skies Above You, and I also have A Million Worlds with You. But in this one we meet Margaret, and her parents are these adventurers, and they invite the Firebird, which means that the person using it can travel to a different dimension. They go into themselves but in another world, which means they take over their life pretty much. So they live very different lives depending on which of the dimensions they are in, but they take over their bodies, and you get to be on some really cool stuff. And I love like dimensions and everything like that, and I find the concept incredibly interesting, and I just want to finish the trilogy because the first book was so good, and I have so high hopes for these 2 books, so hopefully I will be getting to them soon. And then we have a series I've actually talked a bit about, saying that I want to finish it, so hopefully I will, and that is the Throne of Glass series. So the books I have left to read is Queen of Shadows, Empire of Storms, and Tower of Dawn. And all these 3 books are of course written by Sarah J. Maas. And the reason I want to finish this series, I'm just gonna hold up the 4th book because it's really heavy. But the 7th book is supposed to come out in October of this year, so I really want to be up to part with it, and I'd really like to finish it as well. I do really like this series, although my ratings of the books have gone a little bit up and down lately, but I do look forward to finding out what she did with the characters and everything that happens and everything like that. But in the first book we meet Selena Sargathian, and she's an assassin, but she's actually in this work camp because someone were tattling on her, and they find out, and she was put in this work camp where people pretty much work themselves to death. But one day this guy named Prince Dorian comes to get her, and that is because he wants to give her the choice to pretty much be his champion, where in this competition where his dad, the king, started a competition, and the winner will be his personal assassin. So that's what Selena has to choose between: the work camp and trying to become the king's assassin by being Prince Dorian's champion. So we got to follow her through this and see what happens, and a lot of shit goes down, to be honest. So yeah, I look forward to finish this series. And then the 10th and last series I want to finish this year, which should probably not come as a surprise because I freaking love this series and talk about it all the time, is the fact that I want to finish, if you see this is Gemina. So I want to finish the Illuminate Files by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. And I have the 2nd book right here, but I'm currently rereading book 1 called Illuminate. So Obsidian was supposed to come out in March of this year. I loved the first books so much, and I can barely wait for the 3rd book to come out. So of course I want to read it, and I want to finish this series, and I'm gonna love it, I'm sure, because it's just amazing. So in the first one we meet Ezra and Kate, and they broke up not that long ago, and then they come to school one day, and then they realize that their planet is being attacked, and that is because the planet they're living on has this mine they're not allowed to have, and people attack them because of it. So they try to escape to this spaceship, and they run into some trouble on the way there. There's a lot of people trying to escape, and while in space even more shit goes down. I mean, there's so much action and computer hacking, and it's so good, and the characters are awesome, and I like the format that is written in, because it's only made up by emails and documents and chat logs and things like that, which makes the books really quick reads, even though they're 700 pages each. And I love these books so much, and I can't wait to have Obsidian in my hands because I need it right now. Yeah, those were the 10 series I wanted to talk about today. If you have read any of these series, please let me know down in the comments what you thought about them, without spoiling of course. And I do hope you liked this video, and if you did, please don't forget to give me some thumbs up. And also don't forget to subscribe to my channel by clicking the little button down below. And yeah, I hope we see each other next time. Bye!